This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mrs. Lizzie Polly Robinson Brown Jenkins, representing not only the real Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now tuned in and watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we're talking about sports, grades, and the future with Leander Monroe Jr., my nephew. Thanks for joining me, Leander, and welcome to Queen Lizzie podcast. Do you know who Queen Lizzie is?
You.
Yes. Yes, and I want people to know who you are and what grade are you in?
I'm in fifth grade.
Okay, you're in fifth grade, and how old are you?
10.
10. And are you a good student? Average?
Yes, ma'am. Good student.
You're a good student. How do you know?
Because if I don't get A's, I get B's.
Okay, then you are a good student. Are you in a gifted program, an honors program? No. You are just honorable smart, right? Okay, and you do your work. Well, good. When you finish school, you're in fifth grade, you have 7 more years. Do you have any idea what you want to do once you finish school?
If I can, I would like to continue playing sports.
Okay, you do play sports, right? What type of sports do you play?
Right now, I'm playing baseball.
Baseball. That's why you have on your baseball outfit, right?
Yes.
And I'm not playing baseball, but I tried to dress like you. I did play sports when I was much younger. I played basketball, I did soccer, but not anymore. I sit back now and watch you. Do you play any other sports other than baseball?
No, ma'am.
No. You have played football, right? At one time? Okay, so now it's all baseball. Wonderful, wonderful. And you did say you would like to continue, you'll go to college and continue pursuing, okay. Well, one thing I want you to know, and you already know that, is that I love you, and you did an exceptional job on the Real Rosewood interview at my home. Remember that? Oh, I just love what you said, and we are going to put that on this podcast before we send it out. And I want you to know that I'm proud of you, very, very, very proud of you, and your family are proud of you too. Would you like to ask me any questions?
No.
No? Well, what do you know about Rosewood? I'm going to talk about Rosewood also, or would you like to talk about Rosewood later? Later? I tell you what, since we're talking about sports, I want to show you a picture you have not seen. Okay, this is a picture of a baseball team called the Archer Sluggers, and I want the audience to see this. The Archer Sluggers baseball team, which was founded in 1955 in Archer, Florida. Now, you know I'm a historian, and I keep detailed records about everything. So your grandfather is on this picture, and on this picture, and there he is over here. He played first base. I will give you this picture to take home. Your uncle Isaiah was the catcher. Both are my brothers. Okay, they had an awesome baseball team called the Archer Sluggers. I told you I'm a historian. Let me tell you who these guys are. This is Isaiah Robinson, Nathaniel Robinson, John L. Robinson, Leroy Robinson, Elijah Robinson, Richard Strange, Charles Strange, Richard Strange, Charles Strange, and Willie James Robinson. We have 6 Robinsons on this family, and they were bad, bad, bad baseball players. They inherited this from your great-grandfather and my father because they had a baseball team too. And it wasn't as functional as this baseball team because they didn't have a way to travel out of town to play baseball. But whenever they did, you know how they traveled? One car, okay, 3 in the front seat, 3 in the back seat, 2 standing over the trunk holding on, and others on the running board. You know what a running board is? You don't worry about it. And 1 each on the hood. But they got to their destination and they played baseball. That was our entertainment back then. And when I say our entertainment, many times we were not allowed, okay, to associate or participate with other people. We made our own fun. And I remember that today, okay? And I just wanted you to know that this is probably why you are so interested in sports, because it runs in the family. And I'm glad to share this information with you, okay? All right. Anything else you would like to talk about? You have to ask Auntie some questions.
What time did you say they were playing baseball? Like what year?
1955 in Archer, and the name of the team was the Archer Sluggers. And let me tell you how where that name came from. You know, I'm also talking about Rosewood history. My aunt, my mother's sister, the one you talked about, married a young man from Rosewood. He was on the Rosewood baseball team, which was named the Rosewood Sluggers. So one day, one weekend, they came to our house in Archer in the 40s, and he shared this information with us about the Rosewood baseball Sluggers. And this, believe it or not, this is why my brothers named their team the Archer Sluggers, because Uncle Aaron Carrier shared that information with them. Okay, okay. How many? Now let's move on to we've got to talk about school. What subjects are you studying?
Math, science, language arts, and social studies.
Okay, who is your math teacher?
Miss Andes.
Louder.
Miss Andes.
Miss Andes is your math teacher. Is she a good math teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, I know she is. I already have heard that about her. And who is your social studies teacher?
Miss Epstein.
Okay, and you have
So language arts and social studies with Miss Epstein, and math and sciences with Miss Andes.
okay, okay. And who is your principal at your school?
Mr. Armstrong.
Okay, and where do you attend school?
Oakview Middle School
And where is Oakview Middle School?
in Newberry.
Oh, in Newberry. Okay. You have lots of friends there?
Yes.
I can understand, and I believe I know why. Because you're a friend to people, I believe. You are a friend to me. That's why you're on my show. That's why you're showcasing my podcast. Do you think any of your peers, your classmates, would like to come on Miss Lizzie podcast and talk about school? I can't hear you.
I don't know.
I don't. Then what can you do to know or to help me or to spread the message? What can you do? What are you willing to do to let them know you were on this show?
Tell them about it.
All right, you're going to tell them about it, and that's called spreading the news or sharing information. And they may be willing to come on and talk about baseball or class, whatever. So that's your job, that's your assignment, to let your teachers know. What about when you go back, do a show what you call it, show and tell? Show and tell. And you can also invite me to your school to talk about Rosewood and baseball, sports, whatever. I would be honored to come and talk, and you can have the opportunity to introduce me. Would you like? I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that sounds better. That sounds better. Would you like to do a shout out to anybody? Say hello to anybody out there, any of your friends?
No.
You have friends out there. You have a godmother. Where does your godmother work?
She works at Oakview Middle School.
She works at Oakview Middle School. What's her name?
I call her godmom, but her name is
Lavanya?
Lavanya, yeah.
Lavanya. Okay, that's her name. Okay, and that's your godmother. And I understand you all are good friends. Okay.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. All right. Yeah, that's better. Yes. What else can you talk about at schools? So, do you have a PE teacher? Who's your
Yes, ma'am.
PE teacher?
Oh, I have 3, but it's one that works with us, and his name is Mr. Pearson.
Okay, Mr. Pearson. But the other 2 are like coaches?
Well, it's only one more. It's Mr.
Okay, so-
Pearson, Coach Pearson, and then Coach Bennett.
Okay. Now, when do you play sports and where? When do you practice?
I practice on Mondays and Wednesdays.
In the afternoon, after
Yes.
school. And
Yes,
when you play, do you travel to
Yes,
play?
ma'am.
Oh, you do? Where do you travel?
Travel to Lake City. I have a game this weekend. I don't know where. I think I went to Ocala and I went to Sarasota.
Okay. And who takes you?
My mom,
Okay, your mom. What's your mom's name?
LaPortia.
Okay. Hi, La Portia. I am proud of your son, too. My nephew. In fact, you are my great grandnephew. Okay, because your grandfather and I are siblings. Okay, and your grandfather is Cassandra's Robinson's father. So that's how we connect. Okay. What else can we talk about that goes on? Did you win your last game? You went to a game last week, right?
No, we have games sometimes in a week. Sometimes we have like a week of break.
A week of break. So what's your status? What are you, like 0 and 12? Is that, I hope not.
I don't know because we like this season. I don't know. I don't know how many games we've had yet.
Okay.
We've won most of them. We lost one last week.
Okay, you lost only one. Okay, that's good. So you're building. How long have you been playing this year? You started in February, last month or January?
I think it was February.
February.
Last year.
Okay, February. Okay, so you sound like you're a proud baseball player. I'm a proud auntie, okay, because I think we have started something. I think this is the start of something, bringing in other people, other children of your age to talk about where they plan to go after college, after high school, which college they plan to go to. We're going to start something. We want to bring them in and just do a round table conversation and talk about what is going on with them. Okay, we are going to take a break now. We're going to stop for a commercial break, and we'll be back, you all, within a few minutes.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida and America's Black History.
And you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast. recorded right here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Coach Spurrier's own podcast room. We are here with guest Leander. We are back on live podcast. And this time we're going to talk more about Rosewood, and I want you to listen, and because you know you may be the next person to take this family history forward. Okay, and I would just like to say to you the reason I'm trying to get family involved. For too long, we have had other people telling our story. It is our story, and they don't always tell it like we would like for it to be told. We tell it the best because we have lived it. And if we haven't lived it, our parents and ancestors have lived the history, our history. And I'm telling to you and to the world the history that I have researched and the history that my mom, the Rosewood history that my mom taught me. Because as you know, her sister was the Rosewood school teacher, survived the 1923 massacre, and Mom encouraged me to carry it on. And it's called history. It's our history. We are history. Without history, we are nothing. But in order to work hard and make sure this history stays vibrant, it takes courage. And when I say courage, you can't be afraid. I have to research. I have to document because I'm seeking truth. I'm seeking justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, peace, healing, and reconciliation. And it's going to take not only me, it's going to take you and your friends and your friends' friends and their parents, your teachers, okay, and all of the adults you know at church to help carry the history forward. Now, what history am I talking about?
Rosewood.
I'm talking about the Rosewood history. What is the name of my foundation?
The real Rosewood.
Yes, okay, you got that right. The Real Rosewood Foundation, and it was established in 2003, and established means I organized it in 2003 in Archer on the property where I live, and you know where I live, okay? So it's families, it's a families organization. It's not just my organization. It belongs to the family, okay? And I am expecting the family to help me keep it alive, keep it vibrant. Vibrant means keeping it alive. Preserve it, it means saving it, okay? And making sure everybody knows about it. And when I tell the Rosewood story to students, I tell it positively, however it was not positive. I tell it positive to encourage people so that we will grow together, work together, live together for a better America. And I think that may be a reason why people are fond of my telling of the story the way I tell it. Okay, do you have any suggestions? What would you recommend? What would you suggest?
You talk about add a story of what your mother told you.
Oh, perfect. Yes. I will continue to talk about what my mother and your grandmother told me about Rosewood because it's true. And people listen. People want to be involved because I have been talking about what she has told me, people come forward. Even here where we are today, I don't know, do you know who Coach Steve Spurrier is? Okay, he is, I'm going to give you a tour of this museum when it's over and tell you who he is. He is a former coach at the University of Florida. And you see all of these helmets, he has played at all of these colleges. And he is an outstanding young man in the city of Gainesville. And this is his Gridiron restaurant that we are sitting in today. This is his podcast room, but he is the owner of, or he is an investor, owner, I don't know the details, but of this building. And I come here and I eat often, and the food is delicious. But he is kind enough to say, okay, I want the truth told about history too. That's why he shares this. Because not only he, but there are other people like him that are willing to make certain this Rosewood history, okay, is told correctly, okay, to everybody on an international level. International is bigger than national. It's bigger than state. It's bigger than local. It's huge. International means worldwide, global history. And that's what we need to do. We can't change it, okay, but we've got to tell it and keep it accurate. Mom said, research, authenticate. Authenticate means tell the truth, okay? And that's what I do. I have been successful at telling the truth. And the reason I am successful at telling the truth, because I research and I find the truth, okay? Because just think, if I would not tell the truth and talk behind other people like so many historians do and are doing, talking behind other people because they haven't done the work. People talk about what I'm doing, but they don't know about it, but they talk about it to make themselves money, I guess, or to make themselves proud or fame. But I know what I am talking about. So I listen. That's okay. They'll help spreading the news too. Okay, so do you have any suggestions? What would you like to do to help Rosewood? What can you do? What do you think you may be able to do later in life?
Tell people about Rosewood.
Yep, okay, you're going to tell people about Rosewood, and you're going to read. Have you read the book that, and don't you tell me no. Have you read it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Have you started? Okay, what do you remember about reading it? What do you remember? What?
I read the first. I only got a chance to read the first page. I forgot.
Oh my God, you haven't read it? Okay, when you go home, this is your assignment. You read the book so you will know what it's about. You were the first person to buy a book. Remember? I told you. You said, well, how much it is? And I told you went to the car and you got the money instantly. So you got to read the book so that you can help Auntie tell the story. I need your help. And tell your other cousins, okay, to purchase the book and read it. Okay? All right, it's more than about playing baseball. You got to read the book so that you, as I said again, so that you can help Auntie tell the story. I'm very proud of your interview comments on time. Okay, but you got to keep reading or start reading. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No questions? Have I told you everything you expected me to say? Okay, okay. Well, I'm going to ask you some more questions since you can ask me. I'm going to ask you another question. Have your grandmother read the book, or do you know?
No.
You don't think so? Okay. We got to do some homework. We are going to have to do some homework, okay, and get busy. I expect you all to carry the history of Rosewood forward when Auntie is too old to talk about it or to carry it on. I expect you all to carry it forward. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so when are you going to start?
Today.
I will call you tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
And I will follow up. You said you're going to start it today. Good. I will follow up to make sure you are on task. What's the Rosewood Massacre?
The Rosewood Massacre is when Rosewood Massacre is when black people and white people they were kind of segregated, but not as much. And then they had the black people working. They had them working and they would get paid. And then it was a lady that lied and said a black man abused her, and then they started going after him, and they were killing the people they thought who it was. Like, they would kill him, and then they would ask her, "Is this the one?" And then they would leave him dead without regretting it.
Okay, you did good. You do know what a massacre is and what happened. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So that is what happened. And yes, they did kill 5 blacks and 2 whites as a result of the lady, as you said, a white lady lied on a black man, said that she was assaulted by him.
Yeah, but she had lied on that one, and it was a white man, and I don't know if they found him or not.
Well, say what you think or what you heard, and I'll correct it.
I don't think they found him. And then they told his husband that she lied.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I heard you say that your name is Monroe. And I'm going to move back to in the early 1800s. The man that founded Rosewood is really related to you because his name was Martine Goings, and he owned a sawmill in Rosewood, and he is very much related to you. You are related to him. However, I don't know the real connection, but I know his cousin's brother came to Rosewood with him, and most of them came from the southern states. So he came from North Carolina, Martine Goings, and he is the only at the black cemetery in Rosewood. His headstone is the only headstone that is still standing in the cemetery, in the graveyard. We are no longer allowed access to the black cemetery, but it is owned by a white man. Not only does he own the cemetery, he owns the property, the 10 acres where the blacks lived and owned at one time. And you may hear stories like, oh, they had a lot of property and big houses and 2-story houses. Not true. Okay, 10 acres, still there. Okay, and I'm searching, and I don't think it was much more than 10 acres. I know one lady owned 5 acres. Aunt Sarah Carrier owned 2 acres. And the reason I can say this with so much confidence, I have the deeds. I have a copy of the deeds. So when people talk, they do not always know what they are talking about, but it sounds good to them. Okay, so I will give you a picture of it's probably like 10 generations, your great-great-great-great-grandfather, but I am in touch with his grandchildren, and this is where I get the information from. Her name is Marie Monroe Ames, and we talked about you this morning. I told her that you were going to be on my show today. And she's looking forward to me to give her a review when this is open. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Rosewood Foundation website, and you may donate at rosewoodflorida.com. I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. Looks like that's a wrap up for today. I am Queen Lizzie. Bye.